Hello, hello, hello! This is Lapcat, and welcome back. Today I'll talk a bit about architecture and, well, more specifically malls. Malls are a really unique form of social design. It is a large building that is designed to hold a multitude of shops so that people could come and go as they please. You could put it as like a very small indoor flea market, or not flea market, like a farmer's market. Waiting for a turn, so I'll probably resume talking right after this turn. There are just so many cars coming from my left, and there's nothing I can really do. All right, where was I? So malls, although that they are fairly close to per se a farmer's market, it still doesn't really fit the gist of it. Namely because a mall is open not 24 hours, but pretty much more or less every day for about 10 hours a day. I say 10 because of companies and people, shops, they have to be open like opening and closing hours. Anyway, there's a big problem with malls today that didn't really necessarily exist, say, 20, 30 years ago, which is the internet and the very strong online purchasing power that consumers now have. It largely mitigates all the purpose that a mall really provides. Going to one place to shop for a lot of different products. Now with Amazon and eBay and the like, we're able to do all of that from the comfort of our own home. When given the option between going out and staying home, well, at least I am one of the kinds of people that would rather stay home. I'm a very home, commute, work, commute, home, very much kind of person. I don't like taking detours. Because of the internet being around and creating a kind of vacuum for human interaction, a lot of different industries and companies are going out of business, mainly with their brick and mortar stores, since there's not many people that want to come in anymore. There's still the human interaction part of it, but the internet's creating too much of a vacuum for anyone to fill. Or rather, perhaps, the internet's actually filling that void that people naturally have of wanting to be with others in a social environment. So the question is, how do you keep malls around? I say this because I believe malls are very good for a healthy social life and surrounding culture. That's because it's a very convenient place for people of all ages to be able to convene and interact with one another. Also, I'm waiting at a light, so that's why I can move my hands. Having a place that is family oriented, you are able to accomplish various tasks that you have throughout the day all in one place is fairly hard to acquire. Amusement parks are able to fill the family orientated part, but nothing productive. Going to City Hall to get done any paperwork, or maybe the post office, it's productive, but it's not at all family oriented. This comes to some of the solutions that various mall owners have come to, which is you rent the very large spaces that are usually used for department stores, i.e. Kohl's, driving now, JCPenney's, Sears, and the like. This kind of void can be, has been filled by, like I said, post offices, city halls, not like amusement parks, but very large entertainment places, entertainment businesses, like a bowling alley or a large arcade. I think there's also been laser tag in malls. My whole point here is that malls are really helpful, in my opinion, to the culture around them. It allows people to convene and interact with one another and get stuff done productively. But because of the internet, malls are kind of going out of style. They're losing a bit of their function. And here comes more or less my solutions. Perhaps not solutions, but things that could be done. All of which are all in-person things, which is malls could get outlets, or not outlets, but small brick and mortar locations that have a connection to an online retailer. For instance, William Parker, they're a new sunglasses company. I was thinking of Harry's Razors, Dollar Shave Club, Amazon. I know there's various little Amazon locations that can act as a drop-off point or a pickup point, all of which could get us very small mall location to handle a lot of returns and drop-offs, so that it doesn't have to come to your house. Anyway, it's a simple place that you could return things so that you don't have to go through the hassle and difficulty of packaging up the object anyway. For that specific reason, I find it actually fairly a good idea. You don't need a large location. The likelihood of a lot of people is small, and if you want to just run an errand, I mean, why not get all of your errands done in one place? Or bring kids or other friends. You get to go do your errand and then you have some fun. Or vice versa. In the larger mall spaces, like the department store locations, those could be filled with, as I said earlier, post offices or, slowing down a bit, pretty much governmental or public locations that require usually in-person activities like a law office. Not very fun, but I mean, you kind of get what you need done. Then there, you could fill it with, as I mentioned earlier, entertainment businesses. So escape rooms, large arcades and bowling alleys, whatever really works, I suppose. Of course, you can always keep the old model of keeping some stores around. Perhaps they could have fresh farm produce, other things that you really can't get through the mail. Just various things, like a thrift store. You could have a thrift store. A small thrift store, or you could just use multiple different locations all next to each other, all as one large thrift store. Even a post office could have a set of P.O. boxes in a location. Not very secure, but I mean, it doesn't really have to be. I know a postal worker, and I'm fully aware of how easy it is to just break into a P.O. box. Having access to all of those different services in one location is great. However, I believe it's still lacking something, of which would be in-person restaurants and food, which most malls already do. But the way you build on that is you have nighttime activities, namely aimed at, per se, teenagers. I don't know, Friday or like Saturday nights is just dance club. Of course, it'd have to be a safe dance club, 18 and under. And you could have a bouncer or two at the door, required to have student IDs that are obviously valid. If they seem older than they actually are, or they seem a little tipsy, you can just turn them away. Maybe a very slight cover charge, $5-10, I don't know. But beyond that, if you had a food court or something, you move all the tables to the side for a dance in the center. You set up stereos up in the ceiling to move downwards, and you just have the food locations stay open at night. Borderline 24 hours with like maybe 4 or 6 hour break in between, like evening to night and night into morning. I don't know, a short break. Those are just a few different ways that malls could stay into business, remain productive, and a large part of our social culture, of which I think they're a good part of our social culture. And it's true, they are pretty hard to maintain, but I believe that a big problem of maintaining them is actually with the problem of not having enough people coming and going. After all, a mall that has, say, 10% of its stores closed, the places being rented out, being closed, that's just a drag on your profits. And there's not really much you can do besides allowing other departments, other opportunities to take fold inside of that location. I'm not sure if malls don't do some of the things I had mentioned because of legal reasons, but if it is because of a legal reason, I am sure that new town laws can be written or the like, whatever law it is that's restricting them, could be overturned if sufficient evidence is gathered. After all, I'm sure that, say, a post office would not mind having another set of P.O. boxes that they could go and set up rather than having to make more routes. I have really got to admit, I am not really the kind of person that takes pleasure in going to the mall. Particularly if you couldn't figure out before from just my desire to have that routine of staying at home, commuting, and then going back home. I don't like deviations from that. But always hanging out with friends is nice. And sadly, I've got to admit, I also don't really have many friends. But that is what it is, I suppose. As with most guys, or at least in my opinion, most guys, I'm not much of a shopper. I don't really like going location to location to find the best deal or find the perfect pair of jeans. If I'm going to be going out to do something fun, what I find fun is a game of laser tag, maybe bowling, because I am really bad at bowling, so I don't know. Or just overall something casual. When I go out with a friend, that's what I have in mind. Doing something for entertainment purposes. To me, shopping is not something that you do for entertainment. Wow, whatever roadkill that is, it is viscerated. There's a poor dead skunk too. Having a proper analysis of what's particularly important to oneself in respect to everything else that's going on around them is important. I'm not quite sure if I do have that level of perspective. If it doesn't, then oh well. I mean, if I do, that's great. If I had the opportunity to have more friends and go to the mall more, quite deeply hope to have that opportunity of doing productive things while going out. Perhaps if I was done with my event, then I would be able to go and pick up my mail, and that would be nice. On top of having completed something, after being able to complete something socially fulfilling, I'm also able to complete something mentally fulfilling. To me, that is doing something productive. And that is exactly what I'd have the opportunity to do. If you couldn't tell from the cars driving by, I'm stopped again in traffic. But that's all I've got for today. Nonetheless, I've got to get going. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell for new notifications. And comment if you feel so inclined. This has been Lapcat. Thanks for showing up. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.